Millions of people around the world, Mount Carmel and Haifa are very special places in Israel. You see, Mount Carmel at Haifa and Bahji in the Akka area are the two most holy places on earth for those of us who seek to share the teachings of Baha'u'llah, the founder of the worldwide Baha'i Faith. Described as a holy mountain in sacred books and records as far back as 1600 BC, Mount Carmel is also mentioned in prophecy and was extolled by Isaiah when he declared, "The wilderness and the solitary place shall be glad for them, and the desert shall rejoice, and blossom as the rose, it shall blossom abundantly." And as you are seeing with your own eyes right now, it has indeed blossomed abundantly. During his visit to Mount Carmel in 1891, Baha'u'llah showed Abdul-Baha where the tomb of his forerunner, the Bab, should be built. In 1899, at the instructions of Abdul-Baha, the remains of the Bab were brought to the Holy Land from Iran, and in 1909, Abdul-Baha fulfilled his father's wishes by placing those sacred remains in their final resting place on the mountain. The shrine of the Bab on Mount Carmel is the second holiest spot in the world for Baha'is. On his last visit to Haifa in 1891, Baha'u'llah pitched his tent near the Carmelite monastery, and he wrote the first part of the Tablet of Carmel, the charter for the establishment of the world administrative and spiritual center of the Baha'i Faith on that mountain. In September 1879, Abdul-Baha rented a mansion near Akka named Bahji, or in English, Delight. It was to be the home of Baha'u'llah for the remaining 12.5 years of his life. Abdul-Baha, after him Shoghi Effendi, the guardian of the Baha'i Faith, lovingly and painstakingly beautified the gardens surrounding the shrines at Bahji and Mount Carmel. The shrine at Bahji is the holiest place on earth for those of us who seek to live a Baha'i life. We turn to Bahji in prayer each day. Pilgrims come from all the corners of the globe to pay their respects to Baha'u'llah and to rededicate their lives to the noble purpose that he has set for humanity. During one of his last visits to the world center of the Baha'i Faith on Mount Carmel, the late hand of the cause of God, William Sears, outlined vigorously the urgent duty to arise for the cause of God, a duty appointed to every Baha'i. And in the next few moments, friends, I'll share the words of Mr. Sears himself, and let's hope it inspires your heart so that you might also arise for the cause of God.
When I was a young man, I came to this mountain of God and entered the presence of the beloved guardian. And the world became another world. And everything I saw except him became ashes. And before I left my pilgrimage, I know I've told some of you, I wanted to go up to the archives building and get Mullah Hussein's sword, get on a white horse, and ride out shouting, "Ya Sahib al-Zaman," and conquer the world for him, and bring in that vast number of new believers he longed to see. Now, I am an old man, and I still haven't done it. I mean, the world throbs with the vibrations, and the very soul feels shivers of awe and a stab-like thrill of delight to say, I am a Baha'i, and to know that pouring down upon you whatever task you have are the powers and blessings and infinite infallibility of the Bab, Baha'u'llah, Abdul-Baha, Shoghi Effendi, and our supreme universal house of justice. The mere act of arising will win for you God's help and blessing. The mere act of arising, no matter what you were, what your background is, you just arise. and the capacity to do whatever it is you want to do and has to be done will come. This is what he says. We are filled with feelings of unworthiness and dismay, and we would be truly disheartened but for the comforting thought that if we rise to play nobly our part, every deficiency in our lives will be more than compensated for by the all-conquering Spirit of His grace and power. Not half of your deficiencies or some of your deficiencies and our deficiencies, all of them. But again, we have to arise nobly to play our part. He says the very act of striving to serve, however unworthy we may feel, attracts the blessings of God and enable us to become worthy, more fitted for the task. Isn't that a tremendous thing? Never before in the religious history of the world, in our faith, it is the service itself that is the capacity. If you arise to serve, the capacity will come to win those victories. If we arise, Shoghi Effendi says, in the advent of divine justice, the most puny and insignificant among the followers of Baha'u'llah can accomplish such wonders as would dwarf the mightiest achievements of even Peter, the first apostle of Jesus the Christ and founder of His church. The poor, the illiterate, the uneducated, the peoples in the village, with those pure hearts, if they respond, they will do things greater than the first apostle of Christ.
Wow. Thank you, Mr. Sears. Well, friends, if we are going to arise, we certainly must be ready. Perhaps this short prayer will light your fire to arise in the manner in which Mr. Sears was talking about. Make me ready in all circumstances, O my Lord, to serve Thee, and to set myself towards the adored sanctuary of Thy revelation and Thy beauty. If it be Thy pleasure, make me to grow as a tender herb in the meadows of Thy grace, that the gentle winds of Thy will may stir me up and bend me into conformity with Thy good pleasure in such wise that my movement and my stillness may be wholly directed by